As precipitation is leaving the clouds, it can either experience two things. It can reach the Earth's surface or it can be intercepted, whereas interception is the process of precipitation falling from clouds and not reaching the Earth's surface because of trees, leaves, and other things, and ultimately returns to the atmosphere through evaporation. The water cycle has many different processes and stages, starting with evaporation, which is the process of liquid water being changed into water vapor as it enters the atmosphere. Then comes condensation, which is the process of water vapor being cooled into liquid water again, causing clouds to form. Once there's enough liquid water in the clouds, comes precipitation, which is the process of this liquid water falling to Earth in the forms of rain, hail, snow, sleet, and freezing rain. There are 5 different types of precipitation: rain, hail, snow, sleet, and freezing rain. As precipitation is leaving the clouds, it can either experience two things. It can reach the Earth's surface or it can be intercepted, whereas interception is the process of precipitation falling from clouds and not reaching the Earth's surface because of trees, leaves, and other things. When water is intercepted by trees and leaves, it is either used up by the plant or tree, or it is transpired back into the atmosphere, which transpiration is the process of water transforming into water vapor directly from the plants, such as evaporation occurs from bodies of water. When precipitation makes it to the Earth's surface finally, it is either infiltrated or is run off. The process of infiltration, though, is when precipitation penetrates the Earth's surface and flows through subsurface rock and soil. When the precipitation does infiltrate the soil, it percolates through the ground, where percolation is the process of water flowing through subsurface rocks and soils to aquifers and other underground storage. When the precipitation falling cannot infiltrate the ground because of either oversaturation or because of an impenetrable surface such as concrete, asphalt, roads, parking lots, or roofs of buildings, so many different things. Surface runoff occurs, and this is the process of water flowing on the Earth's surface to reach larger bodies of water. By both surface runoff and percolation, the water will eventually reach storage on the Earth, which is the process of liquid water sitting in larger bodies on the surface of the Earth. When precipitation finally rests in storage, these different places, we refer to them as the reservoirs of the hydrologic cycle, whereas our oceans consist of about 97% of the water on Earth. And then the last 3% is freshwater, which we can break this freshwater down even further, whereas the ice caps, the North and South Pole, have about 69% of all the fresh water on Earth. 30% is groundwater, which is all the aquifers and such. And then this last 1% is surface water, which can be broken down even further, where 87% of all surface water resides in lakes, and swamps take up about 11%, and last but not least, rivers will consider about the last 2% of the surface water that we have. And with that, that's where all the water lies in all the reservoirs. While we've talked about the reservoirs of the hydrologic cycle, there are fluxes, which is the transfer of the water from reservoirs to one another. Whereas evaporation, condensation, and precipitation all have the same amount going through them each year, which is equal to about 505,000 cubic kilometers, which is quite a lot. That is precipitated down to the Earth, and about 96,000 of that 505 is on land, and the others is on the ocean. So from that land precipitation, we can break that down into infiltration and surface runoff. Whereas infiltration will take about 2/3 of that precipitation on land, which is about 60,000 cubic kilometers, and surface runoff will account for the other third, which is about 36,000 cubic kilometers. From that, it gets a little bit more dicey, and you get about 21,000 cubic kilometers that gets transpired per year, and only about 100 cubic kilometers is percolated per year. While the water cycle continues on a day-to-day basis to us and is not really truly noticeable, the amount of water that cycles is incredible. About 396 billion gallons of water is evaporated per year. That's split into about 334 billion that evaporates from oceans and about 62 billion that evaporates from the surface of the continents. To put that in percentage, about 84% of the total evaporation per year comes from the oceans, while only 16% comes from the continents on the Earth. While we said that about 396 billion gallons of water is evaporated per year, that same 396 billion gallons of water is returned to the Earth through precipitation, proving to be a fairly well-oiled machine. About 297 billion gallons is precipitated down to the oceans, while 99 billion gallons is returned to the continents. To put that in percentage, about 75% of the total precipitation per year falls on the oceans, and about 25% falls on the Earth's continents. And with that, that is our explanation of the water cycle, and I hope you enjoyed.